Bodine 52, how are you, folks? It is getting fall here in Michigan, and I want to talk to you about what I think are the must-haves, whether it's a modification or accessory, for your motorcycle when you're doing a long ride. Stay tuned. Well, we have done some touring this summer, myself and Bride. So a little bit longer trips than we are used to. Not as much as I know some of you folks that I follow on YouTube, but for us, 400 or 500 mile days is a long ride. And we were talking on our way back from our last trip about those things that we think are important, especially from my perspective being a rider. So, I was thinking about maybe there's 5, it's always cool to do a top 5 video, but I think maybe there's more. And I guess it's just what's important to you and how you prioritize them that'll make the difference. But for me, there are, 5 or 6 things. So let me walk through those with you. The first, and I like to say in no particular order, but I'm going to give this one in order, is the seat. I think the comfort that you have for not only your passenger, but for you, whether it's a backrest, whether it's a comfortable seat that sits you right, no matter what it is, no matter what kind of seat it is, to me, having something that is comfortable, that you can go, that 100 miles, 120 miles between stops, and not realize that after you've done that 2 or 3 times that you're done for the day because your back hurts or your butt hurts or something like that. So that to me is a pretty serious one. The second one to me is, I think, especially when you're doing some highway stuff on long trips, I think windshields matter. You guys know I've done multiple windshield videos, and whether you're using something that you think looks cool or something that blocks the wind, I will tell you, go with something that blocks the wind, especially on these long rides. I like getting air through me like everybody else does, but I will tell you what, you do that for 400 or 500 miles, and I think it tires you out, and I don't think it makes for as much of a comfortable ride. Now, some may say in the summer months when it's really hot, maybe that's not the best way. To me, I still think the windshield matters a lot when you're doing long touring rides. The third thing for me is you got to have highway pegs, right? And I am a fan of highway pegs, especially when I'm riding by myself. For some weird reason, I got a buddy that busts my chops about it. I don't put my feet up when I'm riding with my spouse. I don't know, it's probably just some psychological, I don't have as much control thing. But I just don't. But I will tell you what, being able to stretch, especially for a guy like me who's 6'3", and put your feet up, I think it's extremely important to be able to do that and get some sort of stretch without having to get off the motorcycle. So, and I think highway pegs is something people normally put on their bikes anyway. But I'll tell you what, if you go on a 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 mile trip and you can't get your feet up, it's going to be a long ride. Next for me, and most folks that have big cruisers have this anyway, but cruise control. And I have a 2000 Road King Classic, so I love the old bike and I love the old style and back to the basics, no electronics, no cruise control. But I'll tell you what, when you're going a long way, cruise control is a lifesaver. It is flat out a lifesaver. Now, I know that everybody does not cruise with a motorcycle that has cruise control. So I know they make, and I forgot what they call them, those things that go over your handlebar or your grip here, and it kind of helps you push down, has a kind of a flat spot on it. I'll figure out what those are, because I used to have one on my Suzuki C50 when I had that years ago, and that really helped. But I'll tell you what, when you can really not have to worry about being on the throttle the whole time, especially when you're cruising on the interstate, it's a huge deal for sure. Two just basic things. And my wife and I always talk about this when we go out if we're going for a longer ride, because I always remind her to go get them, which is having a pair of sunglasses. And sometimes if you wear glasses, multiple pairs of glasses, to me, are pretty critical. I know that I do wear glasses, and I wear prescription sunglasses. So, and I have a dark shield. So if I'm riding with the shield down and have my dark glasses on, and it's not a clear day, it makes it tough really to see as clearly as you can. So if you have one of two things, one is I do have a clear shield I don't keep on my bike. I probably should, but to be able to switch to your regular glasses, at least for me on this last trip, because we had some rainy, cloudy days, a dark visor, sunglasses, and rain doesn't make for a good long trip, or any trip for that matter. And then the next one, and last for me, and I'm sure there'll be some debate about this, is I think you should have a full face helmet on. Now, there's a bunch of reasons I'm a full face helmet guy anyway, and people can wear whatever they want or not wear. That's up to them. But I believe that with that shield down, it just doesn't. The wind just doesn't beat you as much. And I think it's important to have that down when you're traveling a lot of miles and when you know that you're gonna that you can get tired. So I think that definitely helps. And the last thing, there is one more thing before I tell you the optional ones to me, is a drink holder. I still have not figured that out, and hopefully you guys can help me. I have one of those Zero big butt cups, and I used to keep it on the back for Mrs. Bodie, and she doesn't use it, and I want to put it up on the bike, but I just haven't figured out the whole straw thing yet, right? Since I wear a full face helmet, and I know I can go to a modular or half helmet, but I like the full face, and I'm not a modular helmet guy. So I haven't quite figured out how to get some sort of straw that I can drink with so I can hydrate while I'm riding so I don't have to stop, because that is the first thing I have to do, because I'm not drinking while I'm riding. If I go 100 miles, 120 miles, that's the first thing when I get off the bike is I pull water out and I'm drinking that. So that would be fantastic for me. I'd love to hear your suggestions on that. And I'd love to hear your suggestions on what else you think are key modifications or accessories for when you ride. I know that many people will hopefully, or are going to say, suspension. And they are probably right. I just don't know that because I've always been on the stock suspension. But I do know there are so many people that say your ride and life will change once you change the suspension, especially if you're touring. So I know that's probably a big one as well. It's just something that that I do not have yet. So, like to know what you think. Give me some feedback, if you will. I appreciate it. For those that I know are going to ask, yes, not full finger gloves today. It's getting a little chillier here in Michigan. These are my Core-Tech Bully gloves that, by the way, are now over a year old. So that's the best time to give feedback, right? If you follow my video, you'll know when it's hot out, I do like to wear, I got a set of Harley fingerless gloves that I like. I know they're not the safest, but I do like wearing those when it's warm. But as it's getting colder, these Core-Techs have really been good gloves, and you can see a year later I have them on. So if you're interested in those, I always keep those in the description along with all the other stuff that I have on the bike. I will tell you, one out of every 2 videos usually is asking me about the gloves and these mirrors. And these mirrors, folks, by the way, are Harley mirrors. They're called Split Vision mirrors by Harley. and you can get some knockoffs. You know, whether they're as good, I don't know. They're probably a little bit cheaper, but I would buy these hands down every day. So that is in the description, as well as all the stuff I use as far as the GoPro and the Senna and editing software and anything that's on the bike if you ever have any question. Well, that is it for me, folks. I appreciate you riding along with me today, and look forward to seeing your feedback. Be safe out there. Be vigilant. Check on a friend. Make sure you stay safe on and off the bike. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.